This is After Hours Live from the Man Cave YouTube edition, and I am one half of the podcast show, Marc Sr. That's me on the left there with the flannel. And the other half is my bro, Tay Wiggs. You can see him on the right. If you want to catch more of our podcast, you can see us or hear us at anchor.fm/After Hours from the Man Cave. And with this video, what I'm going to do is break down the Cavs draft. So the draft was completed and done with on last Thursday. And as many of you know, or hopefully you know, that LeBron James left last year, which means that the draft is now back of importance to the Cavaliers. But first, to get there, you kind of have to see what the Cavs have done leading up to the draft to figure out or really make sense of what they did in the draft. So the first thing the Cavs did this offseason was hire coach John Beleins. John Beleins was the head coach of the University of Michigan. He's had tremendous success there during his tenure. He's considered by some to be an offensive genius. He's just a really solid coach. He's a little up in age. I think that's what a lot of people question around the league, and even in the city of Cleveland. He's a little older. But what he started doing was filling out his coaching staff. So he hired J.B. Bickerstaff as his associate head coach, Lindsey Gottlieb as an assistant coach, and also Antonio Lang. So what we know about John Beleins is that he likes to run a two-guard front spread style offense. So what that really means is he likes having multiple ball handling guards out on the floor. Some may say they're ball dominant, what have you. But he typically has he splits the four up, one ball handling guard on the right, one ball handling guard on the left, and they run a lot of their action around the arc. They have one big man inside. As far as defense goes, he started off as a what I call a scheming coach. He ran a lot of 1-3-1 mixed with 2-3, kind of to similar fashion what Nick Nurse did in the finals this year against Steph Curry. But as the years went on, Beleins kind of went away from that. He went more to an NBA-style defense, which is a matchup. And he had very little switching, so if you see them switching, it's kind of like the last resort. We got to switch to protect this bucket. But it's like at the last call. So now you got to think of who's actually on the team at the current moment. Who's important to the Cavs as they currently sit before the draft. And I think the number one important guy would be Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton is the number 8 overall pick from last year. He's a point guard. Has a really a Ty Lawson, I would say, style of game, except he's a little taller. I think he's a little more athletic. But he's a speedster. He can shoot the ball really well. Gets up and down the court. And I see he has an upside on the defense. And this year he wasn't really that good defensively. Most expected that he would be, but he's not. But I think he can improve in that area. And I think he's a really solid player. From the beginning of the year to the end of the year, he just did nothing but improve. So you kind of like to see that. Other than Colin Sexton, I think Kevin Love is the second most important player. Now, there's a chance he may not be on the team, and a lot of trade speculation around him. But that's like every year since he's been on the team, so it's nothing new. But I see him being that one guy inside, in Beleins' offense. He can pick and pop. He can shoot the three. He rebounds really well. Passes really well. He's just a real high IQ basketball player, former All-Star. And I see him possibly returning after the season. He'll have hopefully a full year of health. He can really contribute to the Cavs. I think they'll be a lot better this year. Other than those two, you got, they round out the roster. Just Cedi Osman. Put him at the 2 or the 3. Another cerebral player. He's a good cutter. He's working on his shot. He shot the ball much better from 3 this year. He's a good passer, defender. He's just going to give maximum effort. Then you got Jordan Clarkson. He's a lighted up off the bench guy. I don't see his role changing much. I think he still come off the bench and put up numbers. That's what Jordan Clarkson does. And then you got Larry Nance and Tristan Thompson. The Larry Nance is, a 4 or 5. He's either going to start at the 5 or he's going to be at the 4. Then you got Tristan Thompson, who's at the 5. These guys are going to, I think, be interchangeable in the starting lineup this year. Unless Tristan, I see him being a trade piece as well as he gets traded. So you got to think, well, who's out? So since they drafted Garland, Porter Jr., and Dylan Winger, I think, the rotation guys will be out, because all 3 of those guys I just named that they drafted can shoot the rock. So I would say Nwaba's out, JR is probably going to be gone. Blossom game, I don't see him returning. And you got to think it's either a toss-up between Knight or Stauskas, seeing how Stauskas has some history with John Beleins, and he was a Wolverine himself. And Beleins featured him often when he was with the Wolverines. So I don't know if Stauskas will be out the door, but it's either going to be Knight or Stauskas, or maybe they don't like Stauskas going forward, and it'll be both. So here's a look at the offense that John Beleins likes to run. It's a 2-guard front offense. As you can see, at any given time, he has 2 or sometimes 3 guards on the floor. In these clips here, got Trey Burke, Stauskas, and Tim Hardaway Jr. And you can see, they really do most of their action around the arc. Very little movement inside the arc as far as action goes. Everything is on a perimeter. But almost every time down, they get a good shot. I know there's a lot of questions. Why do you draft Garland at the number 5 pick when you already got Colin Sexton? And for this draft, I did a lot of research and trying to get into the Cavs thinking. I know they talked to Colin Sexton before they drafted Garland. They talked to Garland in his interview process just to see if those guys really were willing to play on the floor together. And obviously the answer was yes. And they really think it'll be a success. Very similar to the Portland Trail Blazers. People kind of their faces up at that. But the Portland Trail Blazers, are tenured. Over time they reached the level of success they're at today. I think the Cavs can really do that as well with Garland and Sexton. But as you saw in the clips, the offense works with 2 guards or more on the floor at once. I really see Colin Sexton as being the Tim Hardaway in the offensive clips we've seen, and Garland more of the Trey Burke. So he'll probably make more of the decisions, and he'll look to Colin Sexton to do more of the scoring, but also be willing to pass the ball when the time is right. Like I said, every time down, almost they get a good shot based, running these sets. How they drafted was Darius Garland. Darius Garland is, I think, the best ball handler in the draft. I think he also has the pure shot in the draft. He only played 5 games in college at Vanderbilt. He's a 6'2 guard, about 175 pounds. In his 5 games, he had 16 points, about 4 rebounds, 3 assists. But the main thing was he shot the ball extremely well at 54%. I know it's only 5 games, but he shot the ball very well at 54% clip. So he can really shoot the rock. I think his ceiling is, somebody he named as his favorite player, Damian Lillard. I think his floor is a guy like Jeff Teague. I think Darius Garland is going to be a great pro. I think he can even be a multiple-time All-Star if he reaches his full potential. And you can see here in this clips, I did some comparison between himself, Damian Lillard, and Jeff Teague. Because as I said, his ceiling is Damian Lillard, his floor is Jeff Teague. But then, like with all these guys, they can also just be a complete bust. That's just the nature, that's reality. So I think if he gives effort, he gets the most he can get is Damian Lillard. The least with effort is Jeff Teague. And as you can see, his father, Winston, was in the league, so he has some pedigree. He's a winner, he's a 4-time state champ. And then as you see, his favorite player is Damian Lillard. So as the clip plays, you'll see that he's really good at shooting the ball. He has a great handle, and he just really knows his way out around the court. So the next guy I'd like to talk about that the Cavs drafted is Kevin Porter Jr. Now I know he wasn't the second pick in the first round. Dylan Windler was, but the Cavs traded and got him later with the 30th pick. But I feel like he's the second, arguably the most talented of the players they picked. This guy has a ceiling of, I think, James Harden. I think he's just that special as a talent and as a ISO player. Great ball handling and shooting off the dribble. He can see the floor. He can pass in transition. He can finish. He's very athletic. I think he's the steal of the draft, in my opinion. I think his ceiling is James Harden. I think his floor is a guy like Joe Johnson. As I stated previously, he can be a total bust. Not compared to either of those guys, but I really think he can be the steal of the draft. He's had some, an injury. He only played 21 games last year. Some of it was due to injury, and then he had some off-the-court issues. I think he got suspended twice, so that was a real concern for the Cavs in most of the NBA, which is why I think he went so late. Kevin Porter is a 6'6", 213-pound freshman. He averaged about 9.5 points a game, 4 rebounds, about 1.5 assists, and he shot the ball very well at 47% shooting. He had a rough upbringing. He overcame it. His dad passing when he was young. I think that'll overall help. I think John Beleins, had several interviews with him during the process, so ultimately he got comfortable enough to draft him. In this clip here, you're going to see comps between himself, James Harden, and Joe Johnson. Certainly not least, we got Dylan Windler. 4-year college player, senior at Belmont. Can really shoot the ball. I see him as being a great rotation player in the NBA. I think he really fits to what John Beleins likes to do. I see him immediately having an impact on the floor. He's a 6'8", about 200 pounds, averaged 21 points a game, 11 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and shot the ball at a 54% clip. So he can put the ball in the basket from around the arc, mid-range, you name it. He just has a very good shot. I think he needs to get a little bit stronger to really have the impact he ultimately will need to have for the Cavs to benefit from it. As all these guys probably will need help on the defensive end. But him being a senior, I think he'll right away make an impact on the Cavs team. His ceiling, I think, is Peja Stojakovic. I think he shoots the ball at an extremely high clip and very accurate. I think his floor is a former Cavalier, Daniel Marshall. And in the clips here that you'll see, it'll be comparisons as before of Peja himself and Daniel Marshall. So overall, I think the Cavs really cleaned up. They got 3 first-round talents. I think they got 2 top 10 talents in this draft. The key is, getting these guys playing time to develop. I think Darius Garland will start alongside Colin Sexton. But Kevin Porter and Dylan, they're going to have to find minutes for him. I think Kevin Porter eventually has the talent to be the starting 2 guard, and move Jetty to the bench. Dylan, he's going to have to be a rotation player. So after Jordan Clarkson, you're going to have to, find time for him to play. I know they still got Dellavedova. So they're really going to have to find time for these guys to play to get the most out of them, to really get that first round impact. They're going to have to plan more, which means some of the veteran guys aren't going to play as much or eventually get traded. Overall, I get the Cavs a B+ for this draft. It can turn into A as time will tell. But I think the Cavs did a good job. I like John Beleins, I like his system, and I think the players they drafted fits that. If you want to hear more, like I said, of After Hours Live from the Man Cave, you can catch our podcast at anchor.fm/After Hours from the Man Cave. We also can check out other clips on our YouTube channel. We put up, either snippets or sometimes full podcast episodes here. So until then, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.